Welcome to SomewhatNerdy Radio. We are your hosts. I am Snarf Chris.
I'm Critter.
Welcome back to issue number 6. What are we doing on this podcast, Critter?
This is our double feature episode where we each pick a movie and then we both review it. We say whether it was good or bad and then some little tidbits about the movie and our own thoughts on it. And this has stemmed from a podcast-long hatred that started off like a hidden gem. Oh, this was a good movie. And then we watched it and then realized it wasn't. And that, of course, was Meet the Feebles.
Which is our, on a scale of 1 to 11, it's our 1. It would be below 1, but we don't go in negative numbers here. So
yeah,
it's 1.
It's terrible, and we implore you to watch it if you want to torture yourself.
And this scale goes all the way up to a number 11,
whatever great movie you
want to put in. There's no 11s. There's like very few.
Just
11s.
say 11. Yeah.
It's 11. It's unattainable.
Spinal Tap.
You know, I'll put it. I'll actually put Spinal Tap in 11. Turn it up to 11. Before we get into everything, go follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the other social media. Follow this podcast. Rank us. Give us some thumbs up. 5 stars. Leave us a hate hug in the comments and the review section. Whatever podcast app you are using. What we normally do is we both pick a movie, make the other nerd watch it, we review it. So what are we going to start out? We're going to start out with Critter's movie because we need to. We really need to.
All right, let me explain a little backstory of why I picked this movie. So the first movies we picked when we started our new volume of the podcast, and we have the new format. We picked some very hard movies to watch.
I disagree with that, but it was Video Dead.
Well, so they both were hard, but I was ashamed of mine because the actual, when I read the movie, I was like, this seems cheesy in 80s and zombies seems cool, but I didn't realize it'd be that cheesy 80s zombies.
And then my movie was Flesh Gordon, which I will still argue, a solid movie.
Okay,
it's not good, but it's a solid movie. It's fun. It's a fun movie. It's fun.
Look, well, even Video Dead had some.
It's fun. It's got some good parts in it.
It's got some good makeup effects on one zombie, and then they phoned it in for several others. Like they blew the budget on this one zombie, and then everybody else got
$5.
Yeah, man, you're getting George A. Romero,
Dawn of the Dead,
blue skin. That's it. That's all you get, baby.
I Saw the Devil. It's not that movie.
Oh, I'm sorry. I should have introduced it.
I Saw the Devil is a movie that came out in
2010. Now, this is like near the beginning of South Korean movies coming to America. I saw this around 2010.
I knew of this movie, but I only just watched it whenever you proposed the movie. So
this was right around the time that like Old Boy came, and that was a big thing, and then like Lady Vengeance.
There's a bunch of
Man from Nowhere. Yeah,
revenge movies.
The Revenge trilogy. Oh, there's just so many different. Good, the Bad, and the Weird.
Yep.
And this is like a lot of the like South Korean big movies that Netflix got early on when Netflix just first started streaming because it's probably some of the only movies they can get at the time.
Yeah.
And they probably was easy to get, but then
that's why there was trauma movies on Netflix right when Netflix just came out.
So a lot of these movies have been since taken off, of course, because that's just what happens, and they reappear and disappear from various formats. Right now, I Saw the Devil is available on Amazon Prime as a subtitled English.
Is there a dubbed version?
There's not that I've seen.
Okay,
I've only seen
a subtitled one.
Subtitled. This is a very, very pinnacle South Korean movie. It has so much violence, so much violence that even they were like, no, we can't have this to be this violent.
Because it's intense. I don't know what version. Are we watching the regular version?
I'm not sure, because based on what I've been able to see, the Korean version was dubbed or reduced down to reduce some of that so they can mass release it to theaters because it was too violent for theaters.
This movie is 2 hours and 20 minutes long.
Of violence.
And we'll get into what the movie's about and everything in a second, but one of my only problems was the movie is how long it is. And that's not just this movie. A lot of Korean movies
they're drawn out.
They're drawn out.
They're drawn out. There's a lot of scenes that could be
Everything
shortened.
makes sense in the movie.
And it's not boring.
It's not boring.
But you're like, man, I just spent 2.5 hours watching this movie. Okay, so let me tell you what this movie's about. It's about this serial killer that comes across this woman stranded, kills her. The woman who was killed, her husband was a South Korean special agent or secret agent.
And her dad was the chief of police.
Yeah. And so her husband goes on a revenge spree, which is a very common theme in South Korean movies, especially at that time. And he goes on the most insane revenge thing. So not only did he seek revenge and punish this guy, he systematically got revenge. So he beat the guy nearly to death, then left him alive, planted a tracking device in him, and then followed him around until he would do something else, and then beat him near to death, have people fix him up to bring him to make sure he can get around, and then beat him half to death again.
That's the entire movie.
Constantly.
He finds the guy that killed his wife, chops her up. Like, it's very intense. This is a very
quite a bit
intense
of this
movie.
stuff.
Yeah, they do. And one of most Korean movies, like horror movies like this, they do not cut stuff.
Well, and this is considered a thriller, not a horror.
Yeah, it's a horror thriller. Yeah, it's a thriller. But this is very Korean. Which is kind of where I think Korean movies have gotten so popular in America, or just in general. They're very modern, Western style movies. The way they're shot, the way it's acted, the dialogue even is very, very,
very dry.
It's very dry, and it's very easily digested by us. You know, I do watch a lot of foreign movies. Korean movies are a whole lot easier to watch. You understand them a little bit better. I don't know if this is culturally.
Well, I think they're so influenced by Western filmmaking that they
mimic
it, and it's phenomenal. It's
and
absolutely
you look at
phenomenal.
something like Train to Busan, which I mean, it's one of my. I love that movie. It's just such a great movie, and it's so easy to watch because if you literally took all the Korean out of it and just added like a Western director and actors and stuff like that, it would be the exact same movie. And I feel like this movie kind of does that same thing.
But it's I do find it so unique because I've never seen a movie where someone is on because, by the way, revenge on someone that did something to your family, very common. Death sentence.
For sure.
All these other
But not this way.
Not this way, where he beats them half to death, fixes them, and puts them back out in the world just to find them and beat them half to death again.
Now, this is kind of where the super soldier guy in the movie, the one that his wife got killed, really messes up. Because every time he releases the serial killer goes and causes havoc. He kills somebody.
He can't control himself.
Yeah, he can't control himself. Like he knows this is going to happen, and he ruins the lives of so many people because he does like you mentioned it when we were talking about this. He does a Batman. He doesn't kill the dude. He just beats him up and just releases him back to the world.
This is essentially Batman and Joker for sure.
Yeah, it so is. So much that the serial killer has a Joker laugh almost throughout the entire movie. He has this realization that he is getting chased by somebody that's just as crazy as him, and he finds it hilarious.
Yeah, it's to a point where he almost loves it.
Yeah, he's enjoying the
game. And he
game.
finds a way to play back in a way to torture the person that's chasing him. So it's weird how he was able to turn the tables at some point. But anyway, super great movie. And if you are, I love it that South Korean stuff is getting more popular ever since Squid Games and Parasite and these things that are now becoming very, very mainstream in Western cinema, which is phenomenal because
awesome.
If this will allow you to go back and watch this stuff and even stuff prior. So if you can see these things, absolutely watch them as much as you can. This one, The Man from Nowhere, any of the revenge movies, Old Boy, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, that's kind of the standard. That and if all of these movies are fucked up.
Yeah.
They're hard to watch. They're brutal.
I mean, everybody watched Squid Games apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just imagine like the Squid Games it's turned up like
even more so. If you think that seeing someone just get shot in the face for screwing up a candy, you haven't seen nothing yet. In the poster, by the way, actually what made me first watch the movie, because I was into South Korean movies at the time, I saw this one with the the main guy's face, and then a knife cutout in
like
the shape of a
Michael Myers
kitchen knife.
Knife. Great poster. I mean, in the knife is red, so it kind of does that negative space.
I Saw the Devil. I'm not totally sure what
it's called,
why it's called that,
yeah.
But when you watch it, you're like, this is some devil shit.
Yeah,
because it's rough.
Well, it kind of makes you do the whole entire question. I don't want to give away too much about the movie. This is one of the rare things where I think you should watch this whole entire movie without knowing everything that happens in it. But the movie really does the whole, well, which one of them are the devil?
Right.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Which is so great in this movie. It kind of fits, because whenever I heard you told me to say I saw the devil, I went into this movie thinking it was going to be a supernatural, a horror movie. I watched like the first 15 to 20 minutes waiting for something to happen supernatural, because I did no research before I watched the movie. I literally just put it on. I knew the movie because I've seen the poster, which is it's a really cool poster, at least the American version of it. I went into this movie thinking it was going to be that dude was the devil, the serial killer.
Mm-hmm.
And something was going to happen supernatural, and then it was going to tumbleweed from there down to him fighting, I don't know, the fucking forces of evil or something.
Well, that's the super spy guy could have done it, man. That guy beat the shit out of him any chance that dude got.
He's been in a lot of movies in the past few years in America. I think he was in
G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe.
Yep.
He was Storm Shadow. He's a good actor. He's even not speaking whatever language, it's Korean. It's well acted. This entire movie is so good. And it's being carried by just basically two people.
There's other people in it. In fact, there's a cannibal. There's everything in this.
There is. I just want to talk about the scene. The serial killer in this movie gets picked up by a taxi in the middle of nowhere. And it just happens to be he gets picked up by, they're thieves or robbers or whatever, but other murderers, serial killers.
Yeah.
So, like, it comes out of nowhere.
And they're like, what are the chances? And that joke originated with them.
Yeah, he kind of, and he opens up the trunk and there's a dead body there, and he goes, those crazy guys.
Yeah. He's like, oh yeah. He's like, those psychos.
But like, that's the movie. No, like I said, it's too long. I still think the movie's too long. But I wouldn't want anything pulled out of the movie. You know, like
all I can see is if they shorten certain parts in the movie.
For sure. Like, there's some drawn out things.
You can knock out 20, 30 minutes from shortening minutes here and there.
There's a lot of walking scenes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like setup shots and stuff like that. But I never watched, while I was watching the movie, was bored.
Right.
Like, I wasn't like, oh, I don't want this to be over.
Yeah.
This was a phone down.
I started watching it. I was like an hour in. I'm like, oh crap. I've watched this for an hour. I felt like I just started it.
It's got like 20 minutes left.
I was like, I gotta be almost done. I'm like, oh man, I'm not even halfway done. A little interesting tidbit before we move on to your movie. This movie, Arnold Schwarzenegger saw it and was so impressed with this film, he later worked with the director of I Saw the Devil to do The Last Stand.
Oh, nice. Yeah, okay. All right.
Which is a Western.
Yeah, it's a Western. So
I mean, it's not a Western, but it takes place in a Western town. It's very Western-y, of people defending a town from an invading force.
Is it Johnny Knoxville in that movie?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, I like Johnny Knoxville, so I don't care.
Yeah, he's not bad. So
I don't know how good of an actor he is.
Yeah, he's not bad.
I like him. So you watched Jackass?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's okay.
Yeah. It's
not bad.
It's the same thing as the other Jackasses.
I just feel this one had a lot more male nudity. A lot more. Which I ain't complaining about. I'm just saying there's a lot more dick on screen this time. But no, I love this movie.
I wanted to pick something good because of what my last pick.
This is good.
And I don't plan on making all movies good. I might do good, might do bad. I don't know. I just want to do movies that I don't feel like a lot of people have seen.
For sure.
And would benefit them to see.
I don't know if I would have watched this
to
movie
see.
if you wouldn't have told me. It's always been on my radar, but I'm so glad I watched this movie.
Yeah.
It's just like Train to Busan. I've only seen that movie in the last couple of years, I think. I think you put it on one of the Halloween lists.
Yep.
And that's when I watched it. And then I watched it, and I'm like, why haven't I watched this so long ago? And I was mad at myself. This is one of those movies that, as a movie guy, I was mad after I watched it, because I should have watched this a decade ago.
And it was a decade ago.
So on a 1 to 11, where does this go?
1 to 11. I would give it an 8.8 honestly.
Yeah, I was going 8.5. So we're
I
right in
would
the same
say
area.
everything is really good. It is a tad long.
It is.
And
it is Korean too, so you got to read, which is not a big problem for me, but I understand it's a problem for some people.
I prefer, as bad as dubbed can look to people and can bother people, I prefer dubbed because I read slow and I rewind a lot. So it makes this 2 hour and 20-minute movie even longer.
Dub's gotten so much better, especially with like Squid Games and stuff like that, because they actually use computer generation to actually change their lips so it looks like they're reading it.
But see,
it's off.
To me, that looks worse.
In Squid Games, it was actually done pretty good. I think the technology is getting good.
You know where it's really good? In Kingdom.
I haven't watched Kingdom.
The other Korean zombie movie.
Yeah, I need to watch that. Show.
Super great show. But it threw me. I'm like, are they speaking English? It's like the whole time I'm like, it's like there but there. Not. Like, it's like there but not. It
the
was
dub
so
stuff's getting there where it's gonna be easy to do it.
I think it's a waste of time.
I do too.
I think,
but I understand
for
some
movie.
People don't like dubs because it looks off to them.
Yeah,
and they don't like subtitle.
Well, if they don't want to watch foreign movies, then they don't watch foreign movies.
Yeah, but there's so many good foreign movies.
Absolutely, and that's on them. That's on them. They got to figure that shit out for themselves.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to the second movie or a double feature, and this is a recent one. Like we said, it's Studio 666.
Foo Fighters! You gotta get me a record.
It's our 10th album. We gotta break the mold on this one. Let's go somewhere we've never been.
This place is amazing.
Do you guys get this overwhelming sense of death? Whoa. Doesn't really seem like the right fit. Whoa, that's rad. That was weird. The sound of this house is the sound of album 10.
All right, you guys. Amps, living room.
Let me apologize in advance for all the rock we're about to make.
Got a couple of ideas I've been working on. I'll lay them on you.
Dude, wait. It's called Everlong, and you wrote it about 20 years ago.
How you feeling? Everything okay?
Ever since we moved into this house, my mind is flooded.
We all have writer's block.
This is not just a creepy rock and roll house. But it allows spiritual entities to cross into our world.
Oh my God! Dude has got one flew over the cuckoo's nest crazy.
What's this place, man? Let's finish the track.
Can't we just wait, dude?
Play the drums.
Found a new musical note?
Hell yes, I did.
It's an L.
Any chefs in the group?
I'm pretty handy on a grill.
Yeah, you like your meat charred and dry.
He does make a killer barbecue.
What do we do?
We go save his ass.
Is the album almost done?
Yeah, it's killer.
Here you go, man. Finish the song.
You did.
This is a movie that came out in this year, 2022. It's written by Dave Grohl. I don't know who directed it. It was probably some cheap director that he found, since this is a complete vanity project by Dave Grohl. Think the Room. You know how that was a vanity project? Mm-hmm. This is the exact same thing, but not bad.
Okay, first of all, Dave Grohl. If Dave Grohl's involved in something, I'm in. I don't care what it is. For the most part, I always use a qualifier. I am in. I love Dave Grohl. I think he's amazing. Foo Fighters. The only the main thing that's keeping rock kind of relevant to people, well, at least because they are so good.
Agreed.
They're mainstream, and but without it being like, oh well, they're too mainstream. Because if someone were to be like, oh, I don't like Foo Fighters, I think there'd be so many people like, what the fuck's wrong with
what's
you?
wrong with you? Look, I'm a '90s kid. Nirvana was one of my favorite bands growing up. I love Nirvana. Dave Grohl. When we became the Foo Fighters, went into Foo Fighters, started Foo Fighters. I'm like, whoa, the drummer from one of my favorite bands is now the lead singer and guitarist. But then, obviously, through the years, I've seen them live 3 times. I've had every single album by them. I love Foo Fighters. They make just solid music. So, I mean...
Well, not only that, if you talk about just Dave Grohl, he's
awesome.
His passion projects.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is a passion project.
This is not even one of the first times he's played an evil character.
No. He played the devil in Tenacious D, I think.
Tenacious D, yeah. And more than one time.
Yeah.
He played it in the movie Pick of Destiny.
Oh, that's right.
He was also
Yeah.
the demon in Tribute Song video.
Okay, yeah. So this movie is about the Foo Fighters, the actual Foo Fighters. They all played themselves, and this is
for their 10th album.
Yeah, for their 10th album. And this is unfortunate, too, because we're talking about this right after Taylor Hawkins died, which was the only other member of Foo Fighters that I knew his name, because he's kind of all over the place. He's one of more of the face guys. Super unfortunate, so he just passed away in March. So, yeah. So this is about the Foo Fighters. They're trying to force out their 10th album. They all have kind of writer's block, and they can't figure it out. So their record executive sends them to a house so they can all get their mind right and get the sound that he's kind of picturing in his head. Obviously, it turns into an Evil Dead situation. A record gets played, he gets possessed, and he starts killing the rest of the band.
Well, I like how first he develops a new note.
Yes, he does. And the L, right?
The L. Oh, so it's an L sharp. So it's like an E, but higher? No, it's an L. Super great. It's cheesy. It's bad
cheesy.
acting.
Look, and then when I say bad acting,
it's intentional bad acting.
It's intentional bad acting because
maybe part of it's not intentional. Maybe some of these guys aren't great actors.
Well, obviously.
But it does not matter. It's funny.
It's funny.
It's I dare say cute.
Yeah, like most vanity projects like this, I would go, this is somebody doing it for an ego. This movie
was fun.
This was fun for them. It's totally fine. You can see why this movie was made. This movie was made for, I think, multiple reasons. Other than, I think he had this idea in his head to include his best friends into a movie and murder all of them, which is fun.
And some amazing kill shots, by the way.
So the kills in this movie are solid. Like, we're getting very original kills in the year 2022. It's not what I expected going into this movie at all, actually.
Oh, the special effects are actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's solid. I
guess when you have Dave Grohl, you can be like, you know what? We're going to do bad acting, but we want top tier special effects.
I don't know what the budget for this movie was, but it couldn't have been high.
No, but I guarantee you, people that when they were doing the computer effects mixed with the practical effects,
we're gonna do it good.
We're gonna do it good because it's Dave Grohl. Because at this point, you're like, I just want Dave Grohl to like me. You know, it's like this is our budget. This way, absolutely, I'll make it whatever you want, man. I'll make it the 10 times better. And it was a definite marriage of because he definitely used practical effects.
Yeah, for sure. Some of the dead bodies and the decapitations and the body parts and stuff like that, super practical. Some of the kills were just old school, like camera tricks, which was really cool. Lots of blood in this movie. But everything's done in, this isn't a hard movie to watch. Like, everybody's getting killed every 5 seconds, but there's no time there's no like terror or horror. There's no jump scares or anything like that. It's just an old school, cool, cheesy horror movie.
Yeah, you see everything coming.
Yeah. This is no surprise of a movie. You know, like you've seen this movie before, just not with these actors. Like Evil Dead comes to my mind. There's some other rock and roll horror movies around. You know, like Trick or Treat or something like that.
I knew you were gonna say it.
I had to say it. But the more interesting thing to this, I watched this movie. I haven't listened to the new album, which came around, I think, the same time. It is all Foo Fighters' new album 10, is all like this movie. So heavy metal, death metal. If I played it for you right now, you wouldn't be able to tell it's Foo Fighters.
Well, first of all, that's Dave Grohl had that show that he did. Was it Sonic Road or something like that? It was on HBO. And it was about how they went to different cities and played music like like where they were influenced from. So they were in New Orleans and they play jazz and they were.
Oh, that's awesome. No, I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah. I could be getting the name wrong. It's
Okay,
Sonic something.
I'll look it up.
I think.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's a music guy.
For
They're
sure.
all music guys. So I mean, like it doesn't, and he's a rock guy. And again, he's keeping mainstream rock alive and relevant in this world.
And you can tell by watching this movie, a horror fan.
Yeah.
Which is kind of just the beauty of this movie. It's 100% a vanity project.
It just makes you like Dave Grohl more, especially if you're a horror fan.
Yeah. Like, you watch it and you go, I understand everything he did in that movie.
Yep.
I understand the references. I understand the influences.
And is it bad acting and bad?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it works.
You know what? If I
and
asked all my friends that, hey, I have $10 million, we're going to shoot a horror movie, but I want y'all to be in it. I'm not expecting anybody to like do a Shakespearean acting performance.
And I guarantee you, they probably didn't do a lot of takes. No, you're supposed to do this. You're supposed to do this. No, you're supposed to do this. It's like, it's probably like, no, it's good. Let's move on. Next scene.
If this was the best take of some of these takes, good God. But it's solid. It's a fun movie, so I highly recommend it. It's also, it's Foo Fighters. I mean, that's.
And a lot of big names in this too, playing bit parts.
A lot of bit parts, and there's John Carpenter's in this movie, which was awesome. He's a music mixer. With John Carpenter he made the main theme song for this movie, which is awesome.
And well, John Carpenter's good at making really creepy music.
He tours too. You know that?
I did not know that. If he comes, we're fucking going.
Yeah, for sure. He tours and plays his music on stage. And
that would be terrifying.
Freaking love to do that. It's one of my dreams to see John Carpenter.
All right,
live,
we'll Google that right after this.
So he's in this movie. Will Forte's in this movie.
Whitney Cummings.
Yeah. Lionel Richie.
Lionel
Richie's in this movie. Look. I highly recommend it. The movie poster is just kind of your basic horror movie poster. I like the movie poster. It has all the band members. It's not really to get into.
It's a very floating heads movie poster. Nothing super spectacular about it, but the name sells it. It like in dripping blood font.
Yeah.
666. Sure. It says studio arched 666 dripping blood.
And this is like one of those rare things where the movie title, it fits the movie too. It's very on the nose.
Yeah, it's very not I Saw the Devil. And you're like,
yeah. Who's the devil?
Well, it is very artsy with I Saw the Devil. It's like, are you the devil? Am I the devil? Did I dip into the life of being the devil, of torturing you because you tortured other? Yeah.
So on a scale 1 to 11.
Okay, I'm gonna give it a 7.6, and it's really just because any negative things, it is the acting, it's intentional, but there are some things that are just like, oh my God.
Yeah, it definitely goes to a certain scenes in the movie where you're like, I know nothing about acting, but I think I might be able to do a better job than that. I give it a 6. It's better than average. It's not going to go on my rotation. I like the movie.
I would recommend this to anybody.
Yeah, I
would
see. Too. If you're a horror fan or you're a music fan, you're going to like this movie.
Well, it's both. Yeah. If you just like Dave Grohl.
Yeah.
Like,
he's
you
cool
definitely
dude.
need to see this.
Yeah. Good movie. I give it a 6. So as we go ahead and close out the podcast, that's been our double feature. Get on another rotation of movies. If y'all want some other movies that we haven't seen or would like us to review on the podcast, go ahead and send a message into us, and we'll take a look at those movies. We're movie guys. We like watching movies. So.
Oh dear God, yeah.
I watch too much movies. I watch a movie a day now.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
welcome to the club, buddy.
Yeah. Send us some new movies that we haven't seen. We probably have seen them though. On the next podcast, what are we doing, Critter?
The next podcast is an unpopular opinion podcast. Basically, we just talk about some stuff that either I disagree with, he disagrees with, or the general
disagree with,
or the general public would disagree with.
What are we doing on the next one?
Since the Batman just came out, and there was some hubbub about Robert Pattinson, Batman stuff, and this and that. I want to do Batman. I want to talk about some Batman stuff.
Okay, yeah. Well, so we're gonna do
and there's some controversy there, my friend.
We're gonna talk about all the Batmans on the next
Batman
podcast. This has been the 6th podcast of the new season.
Yep.
Well, thank you.
Issue 6.
Issue 6. Thank you all for sticking with us. We love the positive reinforcement we've been getting.
Yeah, it's kind of strange how we took a very long sabbatical, releasing maybe one episode a year. And
if that.
well, no, the Halloween
Oh
episodes.
no, we did that every year.
Yeah, it was the Halloween episodes, and it grew
So
to the
we
Christmas.
never really left. I mean, there you go.
And but now we're back in, and we appreciate the people sticking around. And honestly, we've seen our numbers kind of strengthen.
Actually, it's kind of surprising. I thought when we started releasing podcasts, we're really bad at promotion. I mean,
Very
we're
bad.
very bad at it.
You know,
so we thought we were
considering I majored in marketing and graphic design, you think I'd be better at it, but
Yeah,
I got stuff going on.
But the numbers have been good for the podcast. It's been solid. I'm actually kind of surprised that we didn't. Most of our listeners picked up, and I think we gained new listeners since we stopped doing podcasts. So I don't know how that happens.
Fine. Like, these guys are done.
Well, it's like after you're dead, that's when your art becomes famous. Maybe after we're dead, somebody will listen to this podcast.
Oh, okay. Something to look
That's
forward to.
That's a positive way to think about it.
Something to look forward to, I guess.
So we will be back in a couple of weeks with our new podcast. Until then, go follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the other social media, and we'll see you next time. I have been your host. I am Snarf Chris.
I'm Critter.
And good journey, nerds.
Good journey, nerds.